All right, guys, so I did even more digging through the part numbers for the 2022 Talon and Pioneer, and I got a bunch more information for you. So real quick, I have a new email address for you guys to email me for gear reductions and snorkel kits and stuff. If you guys need work done by me or you're interested in getting a quote, please use this email address. I can't keep track of everyone, all the different apps, so I'm trying to get it all on one email address so I can stay organized and respond to people faster. I keep finding message requests that Facebook shows me like 6 months later, and I miss out on helping you out. So use this email right here, mudpuppygaragemods.com, if you need a gear reduction or anything like that. If you're on Patreon, obviously I can respond to that quickly too. Those notifications come straight to my phone. Okay, enough of the housekeeping. Okay, so this is the sheet I showed you guys a couple days ago with the updates for the sub transmission, and we're not going to talk too much about that because I already kind of beat that to death. But there is some numbers I found. So we knew the part numbers were different for 2022 versus 2021, but now I know what those difference in part numbers actually mean in gear ratio. So the main difference is that for 2022, the Pioneer 1000 has an 18.8% lower reverse gear. Let's just round that to 20 so it's easy to remember. So for 2022, the Talon could put down, for 2022, the Pioneer can put down 20% more torque in reverse. This helps the clutches engage and not slip. It helps everything. The only thing it might not help is the front axles. If you step on the throttle real hard with the wheel locked in reverse, there's 20% more torque available to brake your axles. We'll see if that ends up being a problem. But I'd much rather have the gearing. I'd rather break an axle than slip a clutch. So that's a big, big deal. That's why I'm considering getting a 2022 P1000. However, high range also is a little bit lower on the Pioneer 1000 for 2022. If you do the math, that's what this right here is. It works out to about a 4.3% reduction in high range. So you're probably wondering, why did Honda do that? I'm guessing for acceleration and to make it so that they're less off-road oriented customers for user friendliness, don't have to shift into low as much. So you get a little more torque in high range. But don't worry, you didn't lose any top speed. I'll tell you about the reason for that in a minute. Okay. The next thing I went through is looked at all the clutches and stuff. The clutch discs themselves haven't changed. They've always been different between the Talon and the Pioneer. The part numbers are different. However, the clutch gear that slides inside the clutch disc, they call it a clutch gear guide. It's really a clutch hub, the inner hub. That was updated for 2022 on both the Talon and the Pioneer 1000, and they have the same part number. So probably pretty minor, but interesting. This is really interesting. So as far as like engine performance and stuff, the Pioneer 1000 gets a new camshaft for 2022. It also gets a new cylinder head. And it's not the Talon cylinder head and camshaft, unfortunately. That would be cool. But it's probably something in the middle. So hopefully the 2022 Pioneer 1000 is a little quicker. The front and rear diffs, the rear diffs are the same. The Pioneer, the front diff has a new part number. I'm not sure why. I couldn't quite nail it down. Don't really care that much. But it is really interesting that the Talon has a new part number for 2022. So I was talking with some of my buddies that are into Talons and side by sides about this and stuff like that, and this is actually something one of them found. So, oh, by the way, if you're in the Alabama area, Adam Brown on Facebook, he does a lot of work on these Talons, a lot more than I have. He's rebuilt a bunch of sub transmissions and tried to make gear reductions and a bunch of cool stuff like that. So get with Adam Brown if you need Talon work in Alabama. But he's the one who noticed this. So the front diff has a new part number for 2022 on the Talon, and it also has a new clutch assembly. So it sounds like Honda's trying to beef up the i4-wheel drive front clutches, because that's how i4-wheel drive works on the Talon, right? There's clutches in the front end that engage it. That's why you can do it while you're moving and stuff. And a few people have had issues with those clutches running real big tires without portals. So that's a good upgrade, Honda. Thank you. This is all of the part numbers for the gear ratios in the transmission, meaning your 1 through 6 gears, not your sub-trans. So you can see that the part numbers change here and there a little bit, probably just updating engagement zones and stuff, but the teeth count is all the same until you get down here. And you can see that for 2022, the Pioneer 1000 has different teeth counts for just for 2022. So what they did was they made the 2022 6 gear ratio higher by 4.6%. So that's kind of the opposite of what they did in the subtrans. What it means is that in 6 gear, the 2022 Pioneer is going to have the same gear ratio as the 2021. However, in gears 1 through 5, you'll have about 5% more torque. I said that fast, and it's kind of confusing. So this results basically in when you're in high range in a 2022 Pioneer 1000, you'll have more torque unless you're in 6 gear. 6 gear will be the same. Honda did this to keep the top speed, but also give you some better acceleration. Basically, they just made the transmission in the 2022 Pioneer 1000 a wider ratio transmission, which I think is super cool. I wish they'd have made first gear lower, but whatever. Okay, sheet 4. So this is also good stuff right here. The drive shafts have not gotten changed on the Pioneer 1000 or the Talon, unfortunately. The Talon front drive shaft, people had issues with the cups loosening up on the front yoke, so that's unfortunate. I wish they would have updated that. But the Pioneer 1000 got a new throttle body, and that's pretty cool because when you combine a throttle body, a cam, and a cylinder head, you can make a lot more power. So I'm hoping the Pioneer 1000 has a higher power output for 2022. Also, this is a huge improvement. The 2022 Pioneer 1000 has a better radiator and fan. Here's pictures of it comparing the two. They look really different. The air guard's different. The fan looks a lot more high flow. The radiator has a different flow path instead of going in here and here. So hopefully Honda fixed the overheating problem that a lot of people have had with the Pioneer 1000. So basically all these mods together have fully convinced me that I need a 2022 Pioneer 1000. I'm trying to order one right now. No one's letting me put in pre-order in or put money down just to get my name on a list to put a deposit. So unfortunately Honda's not giving out any information until March for dealerships to start letting people order these things. Some bad news, the Talon, I was hoping they would update the rear suspension, put a longer trailing arm, or change the geometry a little bit. I love the Talon, suspension travel's great, the performance is great, but they do ride a little choppy compared to like an X3 or a Razor. Yes, they're shorter wheelbase, so they're never going to ride as good, but Honda could put a longer trailing arm on these things and do something like a Can-Am or a Razor where the trailing arm mounts farther forward and make them ride smoother. It's going to require a whole frame redesign, obviously, and they haven't done it for 2022, unfortunately. So maybe we'll get a new front drive shaft and new trailing arms on the Talon for 2023. But those are the updates I found. If you guys find anything else, please comment and let me know. Very interested. I dug through a lot of parts diagrams and did a lot of parts list comparisons like this to get some information for you guys. So I hope you enjoy and find it useful.